Well, back at it today, putting hands back on the car. Yesterday was, as you saw probably, it was all running around picking up parts all day long. I think I left at like 8:39 in the morning and I got home at almost midnight. So anyway, today I got the clutch assembly for it yesterday also. So I got motor mounts like generally figured out the area they're going. And I got to put the clutch in and all that stuff, so I'll probably work on pulling the motor back out. Now I know where the motor mounts are going to go. I'll get that part of the frame all cleaned down with the motor out of the way, take a couple of other things out of the way, prep a few things, and break the tranny off while it's out of the car, put the clutch on, get that all finalized, 100% bolted together, so now I can put it back in, work on motor mounts, and then work on headers. I do have one extra set of headers I'm going to try before I lift the motor out. Hopefully those will work. If not, I have a plan, rather involved, but it's a plan. So this yesterday, if you didn't see the video, but the motor is setting in there, a bunch of measurements were taken, things are figured out, stacks of headers that don't work. There's the clutch flywheel and everything I got yesterday for 150 bucks, brand new, and it's getting messy in here. So yeah, so like I said, I know where the motor mounts are going to go now, so I can get in there, get everything cleaned up, knocked out of the way. I want to get the factory motor mounts off the frame rail, get those out of the way, and a couple other things. So I'm going to get to it. And Colby's got the day off today, so he's actually going to run and do paperwork and start getting this thing registered for me. So at least that piece of paperwork trail's done in case of I do make it, which hopefully I do. There's still a long way to go. Let's get to it. Well, flywheel, clutch, bell housing, tranny is all on. That's all finalized. So that's all good. I'm going to filter on it now with some oil in it already. Now I'm going to dig inside and I'm going to work on getting the last of the S10 wiring and brake lines out. I'll probably pull these motor mounts out, and then the motor mounts are going to go right in here somewhere. So I'll get this all wire wheeled down and cleaned up and stuff, and I'll probably wire wheel down these studs because I'm going to have to pull these control arms off to do the bushings in them also. So clean those while the motor's out of the way. Get back to it. Well, she's back in there. Now look a little better with the blacked out frame. A little bit cleaner in there. Decided not to do anything with the firewall for now. I can work around the motor and paint that later on. But working with a jack under the tranny is usually quite a pain in the butt. But with the engine lift holding it up, you're not holding up a lot of weight in the back here with the way I have it set up. So I just went through a hole up there and just off the tail shaft and brought that up to height. Now I just gotta like shim it side to side and get it centered perfectly. I'll probably do another ratchet strap looped around, like just hook it in here, hook it in there, just as a lock or something like that. We'll see. It worked out, so that worked out pretty good. I had some random universal motor mount things that came with something I bought, and I was able to make little templates, and that was the template of the whole thing. And then I folded it once, folded it twice, and then came up with that was the diameter it needed to be, marked it on there, cut it off, and then that was like fully eyeballing. And this is, I had to do 2 cuts, so that was the excess that I cut off, and I cut it at a bit of an angle. I needed more of an angle, so I had to make another sliver cut on both of them, and they fit pretty well. Check it out. Yeah, so that's gonna come up and rest right there. That fits pretty dang well. And then this is the other side. Try to do it with the wrong hand here. And there we go, there's that one. So I'll work on getting those propped into place. Kobe was just here, so he was actually holding one in place because it was influencing the motor a little while I did the final measurements on the other side. I'll probably have him hold it while I get it tacked in place, so he can hold one, I'll hold the other, tack it, eyeball everything, because there's some calibrated guy ball and stuff, and then burn those suckers in, and I can start on a transmission crossmember. It should be mounted. I think she's going to be mounted today. This is pretty good. I wasn't paying attention how low the front of the motor was. It's right where I need to be. I just let it down, eyeballed it, and I didn't check the clearance. Excuse me. So that's good. And yeah, so I can't wait to get that tacked and then fit the radiator with the motor sitting in here. Today's a good day. Let's keep going. motor mounts are officially done. All welded in. Kobe held one side in place when I tacked the other, and that made all the difference in the world to just know that one stayed still while I'm wrestling in there. And the helmet, like trying to work in that void, like the tinting piece, trying to look through the piece that you're seeing through in the tinting piece through a small window. Sometimes it's like bright dark, because you're trying to see, but it's also trying to get to a different part of the lens. So that was a pain in the butt, but she's welded. It's all welded, back, top, front, both sides, and I don't want to let it off the engine lift just yet because we're just hanging on that one ratchet strap in the back. I'm gonna do something a little more stable. I can let it down. I'll put it up on blocks. Yeah, that strap going up to the ceiling. Like right now, I'm holding almost all the motor weight of the motor here, so that's just kind of balancing it. But the motor mounts are further forward, so if I let that down, that's going to put a lot more weight on that strap. I don't want to put a ton of weight on that roof structure. So I'm going to work on that. Once that's up, I can put it up. I'll jack it, get it on blocks or ramps, start crawling underneath, and let's get this crossmember squared away. Well, that was tight quarters, a little burny, a little owie, but that's okay. Transmission cross members in, and let's see. Yep. So I tell you, these transmission cross members, these are 70 to 81 Camaros. They just fit everything. Like, this thing's maybe 3/4 of an inch narrower than the frame. So I just took some angle iron, made a little bracket. I put spaces between the bracket and the angle iron, so if I need to lower the transmission any, I have some play. Then I boxed the corners of the angle iron, put in little pieces of triangle there, welded them in, and this cross member works perfect. And it's double hump for clearing exhaust. Like, these things just work for everything. And looks like we're gonna have enough transmission drive shaft tunnel clearance for the height that this is in the back at the moment, so hopefully I won't have to cut that out. And the motor mounts are all done, so that's awesome. Transmission's fully mounted, motor's fully mounted. Basically the motor, I just got to tighten up all the bolts. The motor, I just got to pull the bolts, put washers on them, tighten those down, and it's locked in. So that's awesome. I'll probably work on radiator mount, start figuring that out next. And once I get a little more resolved up there, I'm going to leave the rear end till later, kind of get the headers figured out and all that stuff. So let's see what else I can get done today. Alright, so some of my favorite tools are antiques, like that thing. I need to make a bracket to come off here and come forward to mount the radiator tube. And I got some flat strap right here. One of my absolute favorite tools. And this should be exactly what I need for here, for that. And now I have calibrated guy ball on where I want to hold. And we just punched a 1/4 inch hole in it. Now, I'll be able to mount that right like that. So I'll put a bolt in this, I'll make the other side, and then I gotta bend this around just a little bit, and then I'll weld this in when I get the height set. So let's make the other one real quick. See how fast we can. Because I already got it all marked. So put it in together. And done. Drop it. Line up the other mark. Bend it. I just like to flip it around just to make sure it's an even bend. Put it in the hole pump. That out. 2 reasonably matched brackets. in no time flat. Well, that's going to be it for the night. It's getting kind of dark out. Kobe's been hanging out. Been an extra hand here and there today, so that's cool. But I got to go help a buddy of mine. God's making some noise or something like that, so I'm going to go look at that now. But this is where we landed. Motor mounts are 100%. I just got to put the bolts in, and, like washers and nuts, tighten those down. Transmission cross member, that's in. I just got to put lock washers on stuff, tighten that down. The radiator, that's for a 32 Ford with a Chevy motor in it, is actually going to fit just right. It's just going to clear the side of the power steering box, and just a simple 90-degree bracket I just whipped up on the top will be fine. I'll weld those in when I'm ready. Lower hose will just practically be a 90 coming up and down, and then the upper radiator hose will just be, you know, from right here somewhere to there, so that's going to be pretty simple also. And then let's put a glove on for grease. Hang on 1 second here, sorry for the blackness, bear with me. There we go. So this is the Z-bar for the clutch. Sorry, I wasn't ready for this at all. I just decided to throw this in here about the clutch. So this is my Camaro Z-bar, because I switched that to a T56 and did a hydraulic clutch. So that's going to work for the rod down there. And then it'll be right off the top of the frame here, kind of like so. So I just got to make an extension bracket there. And then depending on where this is going to come, the rod's going to come out of the firewall, I may cut this off the shaft and move it somewhere else on the shaft, wherever it's ideal. And that'll be pretty nice. So that's almost figured. Radiator's figured. I just got that fan kind of wedged on there, so I'm going to get like a 1-inch spacer for that. Just get it out a little further away from the pulleys. And yeah, so that's a pretty satisfying point. Motor's in permanently now. Tranny's in permanently now. Radiator's figured out. Radiator showed up today. Fit perfect. So that was awesome. I found the one on Facebook Marketplace and asked my buddy Ken to go get it. He's actually the one that searched the number and found it on Amazon, where it was available like 2-day shipping or whatever. So thank you, Ken. It ended up working perfect. So yeah, today's a victory. I'll help my buddy out. Tomorrow I have to go to my house. I got the scrap guy coming for a couple of trailers and a pile of scrap metal. So I gotta go do that. That may be most of the day. We'll see what happens. But if not, I'll be here doing something afterwards. I'll check in as soon as possible.